Well, that was the first nominee. He's just completed his own turn there, taking a bow, and he's leaving. And immediately another nominee is coming straight in. Former Governor
Distinguished senators, please
Kayode Fayemi.
settle down. Thank you very much, distinguished senators.
A former senator, but he's going to be the one to go now and have his turn. A very interesting time there with Senator Udodoma. He was raring to go, and the senators felt they had had enough and they had done a very good job. And they felt there was no need to waste time. Spent almost like 15 minutes in there. We'll see how that time plays out with the other nominees.
Mr. President.
Former Governor Fayemi now going to take the stand.
Wrong bow. Wrong bow.
Distinguished colleagues, the next ministerial nominee we have with us is John Olukayode Fayemi. Mr. Fayemi, you are welcome. We all have your CVs. We would like you to tell us briefly about yourself. Tell us the parts that you would like to highlight in your CV. If there's anything there that you want us to know about that is not there, and after that you will take a few questions.
Thank you, Your Excellency, distinguished Senate President, Your Excellency, distinguished Deputy Senate President, distinguished leaders of the Senate, distinguished senators of the Federal Republic. My name is John Olukayode Fayemi, and I am most delighted, Mr. President, to appear before this distinguished Senate. I served until October 15, 2014 as the governor of Ekiti State, during which period the state attained lofty heights in a range of areas. It is to the credit of the administration that in 2013, the UNDP Human Development Report described the state as the most conducive place to live in, and the one with the highest life expectancy in Nigeria, 55 years. Before serving as governor in Ekiti State, Mr. President had had a long and varied career in academia, in journalism, in consultancy, and as an advisor to various governments and international organizations, particularly the government of Rwanda and Uganda, and Sierra Leone and Liberia, as well as in the peace process in Sri Lanka, engaging the Tamils and the government in Sri Lanka. I, of course, have also played very critical roles in the quest to my party winning the election that produced our president in March 2015. I was responsible, with the support of the leadership of the party, for the historic presidential primaries in Lagos on December 10, 2014 that produced our president. I was also responsible for the Policy Research Directorate of the party, which played critical roles in the development of the manifesto of the party, as well as the policies and programs of the party. I continue to consider myself primarily as a teacher and a researcher, which is my occupation, and I am a politician by vocation. Of course, prior to all this period, I was also quite involved in the struggle for freedom and democracy in this country. I used to run what was known as an underground radio in the Abacha days, Radio Kudirat and Radio Freedom. And I'm glad that our country is now in the dawn of a new era. We have democracy, and we also actually have democracy with Democrats, those who are involved in that struggle to establish a new order in our country. And I'm delighted to be before this August Senate. Thank you.
Chief. Thank you very much. My name is Shola Adeyeye. I represent the Central Senatorial District of the state of Osun. I have two questions for the nominee. The newspapers are awash with sharp criticism of your tenure as governor. One of them is that you left a very heavy burden for your state. All of us should be concerned that your tenure in the national government will not result in an equally heavy burden if the allegation was true. And the second allegation is that you spent untoward amount of money to furnish the government house when you were governor at the expense of other programs for your people. Nigerians are interested in your answering these questions.
Senator Shehu Sani.
Dr. Fayemi, I have only one question for you. As part of your resume, you made mention of your role in the operation of the Radio Kudirat. And I know very well that you have some few colleagues here who were part of your illegal radio station. But I have this question. When you were, before you jet out to run that radio station, we were all in the field. And there was an allegation that you passed through non-conventional borders in escaping out of Nigeria at that time, when most of us were in prison. So, like me, I was in one of the prisons, the Kirikiri prison. So please, can you explain that scenario of what happened at that time? Thank you.
Senator Anduba.
Mr. President, most distinguished colleagues, my name is Senator Anduba, representing only the good people of Anambra South Senatorial Zone. Mr. Nominee, my question is, the educational system in Nigeria is in a state of emergency. If you are made the Minister of Education, how would you rescue the educational system that is in trouble? Number two, in regards to foreign policy of Nigeria, what do you think should be the role of Nigeria in the crisis all over the world, especially Burundi? Thank you. Especially Burundi, the problem that they have in Burundi.
Mr. Anum, let me take these three questions then.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to thank Senator Shola Adeyeye for the question on the debt burden in Ekiti State. I would like to start by stating the obvious, that government in any state, and indeed in our country, is a continuum. You cannot run government in isolation of what you found. When I became governor in Ekiti State in October 2010, the state was understandably saddled with outstanding obligations. partly because the governor at the time, Governor Shegoni, did not envisage that he was going to leave office, and clearly he couldn't have settled all obligations in the wake of his exit. So I met obligations in excess of 30 billion to banks, to contractors, to a range of people that government owed. And I took it in my stride, completed virtually all the projects started by the Oni administration, paid off the bulk of the outstanding obligations to contractors, and then moved on as governor with my own responsibilities and my own promises to the people of Ekiti State. Now, Ekiti is number 35 on the revenue ladder of this country, with an average of 3 billion naira income on a monthly basis, and a wage bill in the region of about 2.4 billion every month. So if you have a state that has found itself in that situation, of course, the immediate way to respond to it is to find means to meet the promises made to the citizens of the state. And I did that. Of course, I used my relationship with the international community, particularly development agencies, and Ekiti was able to raise a lot of funds. Probably per capita, Ekiti raised more funding than many states in the country, from institutions like the World Bank, like the European Union, DFID, USAID. They all came into the state to help. I also, because I made promises about capital projects, I also approached the capital market and raised a bond of 25 billion naira to meet the infrastructure development initiatives in the state. And the result is there for all to see. Whether you talk of the revival of the moribund industries in Ekiti State, or you talk of the revival of the tourism attraction Ikogosi water resorts, or you talk of other regenerative initiatives like the Ekiti State Pavilion, the Ekiti Parako Square, and the road network in the state, which has significantly improved from what I met there.